Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. And in this video we are going to create a simple countdown timer by using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So we can actually fix the date and time in the code, then it will have a countdown till this date. So my birthday is 15 November. So it is going to be countdown at the date because I have fixed the date at the code. So I think it is going to be very interesting. So without any further ado, let's get started. At first I am going to create a markup. So it is just going to look like a clock. So I'm just going to create a div with the class of container, and inside the container let's add a title here. I'm going to name it count down timer. You can give it whatever time or title you want. After that, let's create an another list with the class of counter, and inside this another list let's add some list item. So I'm just going to use an span with the idea of maybe first one for the days, because we need to use the JavaScript to put our numbers in here. So we are going to use JavaScript to push the number in this span with the idea of days. Okay, but now just for as a placeholder I'm just going to add a demo test here, but we are going to remove that later. Let's create some copy. The first one will be the the days. The second one hours. The third one, let's say minutes. And the last one will be the seconds. So let's also add some text here. First one is the days, then here comes the hours. The third one is the minutes, and the last one is the seconds. Okay, this is our simple markup and it is done. Now let's move on to the style.css and do a little bit of stylings. So for this project I want to import an Google font. So let's do that. And I think it looks fine, so I'm just going to import this. There are 8 styles, but we actually don't want all of that. So I'm just going to get the bold 700 from here. Let's import it into our CSS, and also we need the CSS rules. Okay, now let's put some basic stylings, the reset stylings. Actually the caps is locked. Okay, it should be lowercase, margin 0, padding 0, and box sizing border box. We are just going to use this to reset the default margin and padding of the browser. Then let's target the body here, and I'm just going to paste it the font family. Now the font has been changed. Now let's do some other modifications. Let's give it a height of 100 viewport height, a display of flex to make them center. So we can use the align items center, and let's also give this a background color of this one 0027 and 59. Okay, this is our background color. So let's get the font weight. The font weight will be 700 because we only imported that font weight. Also we can increase the letter spacing a little bit because they are too much congested. Okay, letter spacing, let's say 5 pixels. Okay, now it looks fine, but now let's style the container here. So we are going to target the class of container, and let's change the color to 0 to FFF. Okay, this is the color and it looks fine. Again is the background color here. So let's make them centered by putting a margin 0 auto. Now in order to make the text center, we can also use text align center. Now they are properly centered. Now let's target the font, this title here. So we can just target the icon, and we can use text transform to uppercase, just like that. Now let's target the li, or the list items. So it got this default list styling of this dot or the circle, so we are going to remove that. List style is going to be none. Now it should be gone. So let's make the display of inline blocks, so they will appear after each other in a horizontal direction. We can also increase the font size to 1.5 em maybe. Okay, let's also give it this a padding of on em, and let's make the text transform. Actually we don't need that because all the text here are actually uppercased. Now let's target the span here. They are inside the list item and span. Let's increase the font size to maybe 5 rem. That will be pretty big. And we can make the display block to push the text at the next line, and also give this a padding of on. Actually we don't need any padding here. So what we can do is we can add the font style of italic, and if you don't like the italic version here, you can just leave this like that, the normal font style. Okay, our markup is done, but if you don't like that much big text, you can also add an responsiveness effect here, but we are just going to ignore that and go directly into the JavaScript and add the actual functionality here. So in the JavaScript, at first I'm just going to create some variable here. Let's second, and this will be the second. And one thing to remember here, we are going to use the JavaScript date object. So it is counted in the millisecond. So on second will be equal to 1000 millisecond. That's why we are going to give this variable the second a value of 1000. It will helps the calculation later. Then we can create another variable by using the let and the variable name, then the value, or we can just put a comma here and just create another variable. So the next one we need to add is minute, so that will be the second into the 60, because 60 second creates a minutes. Then same thing will happen for the hour. It will be minute into 60. Then here comes the day, so it will be the hour into 24. Okay, I don't think we need any other variables here. Actually we do. So we are going to create a finish time, so till that time the countdown will be happening. Okay, so we are going to create a variable. Let's name it final time, or you can use birthday if you want to create that for it. So what we can do is we are going to change this time into a time stamp. So what is the time stamp? I'm just going to display it to you. So let's create a variable here, let time stamp. I'm just going to name it that way. Now if we create a new date object in JavaScript, and let's console.log it. Okay, now let's save and open the console here. So this is the date format. The first there will be the name of the day, then there will be the month, then the date, then the year, then the time. So we can actually do the same thing here, or we can just do it like that. So the first thing we want to do is to get the name of the month. Actually it is 3 character or letter. So I'm just going to put my birthday here, but feel free to do it yourself. You can put your birthday or any other dates here. So the first thing we want is the birthday, sorry, the month name. Then there will be the date, which is in my case 15. Then put a comma, then a space, then the year. So I want to put 2021, which is this year. And let's also give this a time of, okay, this is the time, but if you want any other time you can also do that. So this is our finish time or the final time. So we cannot actually minus the value of today's date with this date. That is not how it works. So we actually need to convert this into a timestamp. Then we are going to minus it, then calculate the actual days, hours, minutes, seconds. So what I am going to do is I am going to show it to you. So this is the date here. Actually we want to show the timestamp here. So this is the date format. This is the understandable format. We can see the day, month, year, etc. So we are going to convert it into a timestamp. And how we can do that? Well, there is a function, the JavaScript built-in function for that, which will be the get time. Okay, if we put the get time with this date here and put it inside the timestamp variable, and we are going to console.log it. So let's save, and this is what a timestamp look like. So we are going to convert the today's timestamp and convert this final time into from this to this type of timestamp. Then we are going to minus it. Okay. So I'm just going to create a new function, the set interval, because otherwise it will not work. We are going to use the set interval because we need to display it. We need to run this function again and again every second or every millisecond if you want, because we need to change the today's date will be changed. So it is going to run this function over and over again and then display it in here. So it is going to be changed. Okay. So in order to create a set interval function, we just need to put the set interval. Then we can just do it like that, or we can use an arrow function here. So arrow, then this one. Now this is our set interval function. So I'm just going to remove the console.log here and cut this, because this is going to be changed every time, because the current time is going to be changed, right? So we need to put it inside the set interval so that it can be run over and over again. Now let's change this to maybe now, because this is the current time. And let's create another variable here. Let's make it distance. And this will be the minus between this final time and this time. Okay. So I'm just going to create another variable here. Let's name it count down. Now let's get the date here. So new date, and we need to pass this time here. Now we can add this get time. So if you just console.log it, it is going to be displayed. Okay, there is a mistake here. Okay, now the error should be gone. This is the timestamp of this date. So we are going to put the number here inside this final time variable. Then we are going to pass that variable into a new date object here, and then add a get time function with that. So now we can get the timestamp for that date. And here we got the timestamp for the current date of the time. Now we are going to minus that too. So the bigger value of that will be the final time. So we are going to get the countdown, then minus the current time. Now we got the difference between those two. So now we are going to display that in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove these things here. Although if you don't remove that, it is going to work as just the same way. So let's target the id here. So the first one got the id of days. Document dot, we can use the get element by id because we got them the ids. The first one is the dates, and we want to change the inner text here, and it will be equal to the distance divided by the day. But there is a simple issue here. As you can see, this has got too much of point, and we actually don't want that. We want to remove everything after the decimal. So what we can do is we can wrap it up inside a math floor. So maths, math and floor. So floor, and I'm just going to put it here. Now everything after the point, including the point, will be gone. So this is the first one, the days. Now let's add the next one, which will be the hours. Get element by id, and it will be hours. Then inner text, and again we also need to use the math.floor, otherwise there will be too much points. So it will be the distance. Actually we need to put it inside and comma here, sorry, that is the bracket, distance, and we actually need to use the modulus. So here is the calculation works. We got the distance, we got the days here by dividing the distance with the day. Now we actually don't all the times here divide it into the hours, right? So we are going to divide it the total distance with the day, and there will be some leftover after the dividation process. Then we are going to convert that into hours and display it here. So we need to use the modulus sign, which is the percentage sign here, but it is not the percentage, it is the modulus. So it is going to be I'm just going to explain it later. So we are going to divide it by the day. So the distance will be divided by this day, and whatever left off will be the value of this, and we are going to divide this entire thing with the hour. I think okay, hour, everything's all right. So I think there is a problem here. It should be displayed. Sorry, the problem was with this text here. It will be inner text, not inter text. I hope this works. Okay, now this is working fine, but this is not the correct spelling. So I'm just going to change it here. Okay, now it is fine. Okay, every other spelling I got right. Now the next thing we want to do is to get the minutes. Now for the minutes we are going to do the same thing. We are going to divide the distance with the hours, then the leftover will be divided by the minute. Okay, let's do it again. Document dot get element by id, and it will be the minutes. Let's change the inner text here. Math.floor. Let's divide the distance by using the modulus so we can get the leftover, and it will be the hour, and whatever the leftover is we are going to divide it by minute. Okay, now we got it right. So the last thing we want to do is to get the seconds. So it will be the same again. Document dot get element by id. It will be the minutes, sorry, the seconds, and inner text. Let's use the math.floor again. So again, distance modulus, then here comes the minute, and we are going to divide it with the seconds. Actually it's the 1000 because we got the second that value. I think there is a simple issue here. So it is the second, not seconds, and this should be inside. And okay, now it's fine. So this is our timer, but the problem is when it is going to be 0. Let's change the date here. Today's date is June 25, so I'm just going to use June 15. Let's save, and it is going to be minus. Actually we don't want that, right? So what we can do is we can use an simple if statement here. If we got the distance, if the distance is less than 0, that means it is going to be minus value, then we can actually change the things here. So we got the headline. Actually we got the JSON here. So what I'm going to do is let's create a variable here. This is the headline and document dot query selector, not all. We only need the JSON tag here. And let's create another variable. Let's name it counter, and with this counter we are going to grab this entire counter here. So this got the class of counter, document dot query selector, and the class of counter we need to add a semicolon, sorry, quotation. Okay, I'm just going to paste it here. So now when the distance will be less than 0, we can change the JSON and make this counter invisible. So let's target the headline, which is this variable name, and we can change the inner text. So you can put whatever text you want, but as I have going to select this date as my birthday, so we can put a text here like it's my birthday. And again we can make the counter invisible. So let's target the counter and style, let's target the display, and we can make it none. Let's save, and again I got the spelling error here. It will be in a test. Let's save. Now it's fine. So whenever the counter will be 0, then it will be gone and it will be this text here. So I'm just going to leave the timer just like the before, November 15. So this is how a timer works, and this is how we can use the date object to create the countdown. I hope you like this video, and if you want to get the source code, you can find the link in the description. I will add the source code in the GitHub repository and share the link below. So thank you very much for watching, and if you are not subscribed yet, please don't forget to subscribe, and see you in the next video. Take care.